Today we're in chapter 21 of the Gospel of Luke. We're going to be looking at verses 1 through 14. And then let me read verses 1 and 2 and introduce this to you, but I'll be sharing a few things about this. Beginning here in John chapter 21 at verse 1, reading verses 1 and 2, John writes, "After these things, Jesus showed himself again to the disciples at the Sea of Tiberias. And in this way he showed himself. Simon Peter, Thomas called the twin, Nathanael of Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and two others of his disciples were together." And so as we begin, this particular chapter here, chapter 21, actually records one of the post-resurrection appearances of the Lord Jesus Christ. Post-resurrection. Between his resurrection on Easter Sunday and his ascension 40 days later, the New Testament records that some 10 times Jesus visibly appeared to his disciples. 5 of those post-resurrection appearances occur on the day of his resurrection, and the 5 that follow after that occur in different times. You'll see, for example, that when he appeared to Thomas, as it was recorded in John chapter 20, verses 26 through 29, well, that took place several days later. According to 1 Corinthians chapter 15, Jesus appeared to the apostles and over 500 brethren. That was later on. According to 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 7, he appeared to James, his half-brother. And then, according to Acts chapter 1, verse 9, and Luke chapter 24, verses 50 and 51, he appeared again prior to his ascension to heaven from the Mount of Olives. And so, various times after his resurrection, he appears to his disciples and witnesses. And this is one of those occurrences that we'll be looking at here in chapter 21. Now, chapter 21 gives to us some information and actually records the restoration of the Apostle Peter. And because that's such an important subject, restoration, and I think a lot of people, especially those who have begun well and then stumbled, and those who began to do well at first and found themselves in a series of failures and all, well, I think those who would understand that and have been there would appreciate a fuller discussion concerning restoration. And so what I want to do is I want to take you into verses 1 through 14 today, laying a foundation, giving some background, and then move you into the restoration of the Apostle Peter, which we'll be looking at together next time we come and join together in Bible study next week. And so this chapter here deals with the restoration of the Apostle Peter. We need to remember that the Apostle Peter has to be restored. He has to be restored to fellowship with Jesus Christ because he has failed. And he has to be restored to fellowship before he can be restored to any form of ministry. When you fail and you get back up and say, "Lord, I want to be used by you," well, the bottom line is, in order to be used by the Lord, you need to be first restored to him in relationship, in fellowship, because sin makes separation. And so if I fail in my walk with the Lord, I have to be reconciled with him first in order that I might move on and do the things that he calls me to do. And so that's what we'll see in the life of the Apostle Peter. He needed to be restored because he had denied the Lord. Remember with me that the Apostle Peter had vehemently stated that he would never fail Jesus Christ. He had said that I will remain faithful to you even if everybody else denies you. I never will deny you. Now, John in chapter 13, verses 36 through 38 records how that Simon Peter asked the Lord Jesus Christ, "Where are you going?" And Jesus replied, "Where I am going you cannot follow now, but you will follow later." Peter asked, "Lord, why can't I follow you now? I will lay down my life for you." Then Jesus answered, "Will you really lay down your life for me? I tell you the truth, before the rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times. So the Apostle Peter said, no, I will not disown you. I will not deny you. I would even die for you. But Jesus says that's not true. You're going to actually deny that you know me. And so when you get to chapter 18 and you begin reading verses 17 through 27, John records there that 3 times the Apostle Peter denied that he knew the Lord Jesus Christ. So he's done that which is unthinkable. He's done that which he stated he would never do. And as a result of that, there's no doubt that he's in great pain. Because when you do something against the one you love the most, there's a guilt, there's a sorrow, there's this pain that you have in your heart as a result of that. And there's no doubt in my mind that the Apostle Peter, since his denial of the Lord Jesus Christ, has been carrying within him a tremendous burden, a tremendous sense of sorrow, guilt, remorse over what he has done. And there is something that is in between his relationship with Jesus Christ. It's that sense of needing a restoration, that sense of this has got to be dealt with. I can't have this awkward silence any longer. I can't have this sense that there's something wrong between us, and I know it's my fault. I have to do something about it, but I don't know what to do. Well, we'll be looking at that in some detail next time we get together. But that's what he's going through right now. He did the unthinkable. He did that which he doubted he could ever do. He did that which he stated was not possible for him to do. And as a result of that, he's carrying a heavy load, a deep weight, a great burden. Psalm 40 verse 12 says, troubles without number surround me. My sins have overtaken me, and I cannot see. They are more than the hairs of my head, and my heart fails within me. I think there are people in this room who understand exactly what that psalmist is saying. I am surrounded and I am overcome. I am absolutely at the bottom. I feel like I have been torn up, and there's really little that I can do about it. It reminds me of Psalm 51 verse 3, where the psalmist said, my sin is always before me. When I go to bed at night, I think of what I've done wrong. When I wake up in the morning, I remember what I've done wrong. And throughout the day, it's the thing that I can't escape. It's that thing that keeps weighing heavily on me. How could I have done that? Why did I do that? This is just not something I ever thought I could do. And it's just before you at all times. Well, that's what the Apostle Peter is going through. He denied the Lord. He said, I would die for you, even though these would not. I will. You can count on me. And yet when it came down to it, the Apostle Peter denied the Lord in the way that many of us have done things that we greatly regret too, that we thought we would never do. Well, the question has to be asked, how does Jesus deal with people who do things like that? Does he throw them under the bus? Say, who needs this? I don't need people like you. I already had a Judas. Why do I need a second? Is that how he deals with it? I don't think so. When Jesus was speaking and giving teachings, and it's recorded in Luke chapter 15, in verses 4 through 6, Jesus gives us insight into how he deals with one of his sheep that's gone astray. Because in Luke chapter 15, verses 4 through 6, he asked the question, what man of you having 100 sheep, if he loses one of them, does not leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after the one which is lost until he finds it? And when he has found it, he lays it on his shoulders, rejoicing. Jesus is the good shepherd. Jesus' sheep has wandered away. Jesus, as the good shepherd, seeks them out. That's what he did to you. That's what he does for us when we fail him. He doesn't let you just wander off there in the wilderness and perish all alone. He pursues you. He goes after you in order that he might restore you. And so what we have here is the story of the apostles' restoration, but we need to lay a context so we can get to that when we arrive at those verses. And what we have in verses 1 and 2 here is the apostles who have remained faithful are now in northern Israel, in what is called the Galilee. When you look at a map of Israel, and especially New Testament map, you'll see that it's divided into 3 basic segments. You have northern, you have central, and you have southern Israel. Northern Israel is the Galilee. It's where the Sea of Galilee is, the Lake of Tiberias. And in the center would be Samaria, and then in the south is Judah. Jesus was crucified in the city of Jerusalem, which is in the south. And so he has told his disciples that they're to meet him in the north. We see that in Mark's Gospel, chapter 16, verse 7, when an angel is speaking to women disciples of the Lord, and the angel tells them, "Go tell his disciples and Peter that he is going before you into Galilee. There you will see him, as he said to you."